Louisiana boy. Are you an LSU fan? Are you a Joe Burrow fan? Talk to me about what you're hoping happens this year for football, baseball, all of the above.
Yeah, I grew up in a little town about 2 hours from Baton Rouge, 1 hour from New Orleans, but my mom was from Baton Rouge, so I am like a SEC fan all the way. I love my LSU football, baseball, any of the LSU athletics. So I'm a massive LSU fan. I love Joe Burrow. I really hope that this is going to be an incredible year for him. I really hope it's going to be an incredible year for our Tigers. I think we've still got a good ways to go a little bit, but I think that we're headed the right direction. So we'll see. Hopefully it'll be a big year for Baton Rouge. So
I love it. Well, I'm a huge foodie, and Louisiana is definitely one of my places to visit for food. So,
yeah,
here is somewhere either in your hometown or in Baton Rouge or in New Orleans that somebody has to go eat, and what should we order?
yeah. I mean, in Louisiana, like you said, it is like it's a anywhere you go in Louisiana, you're gonna get good food. Like it's just that way. You can order jambalaya or a gumbo somewhere, and odds are it's gonna be like the best that you'll ever have. Like it's authentic. It's so good. My favorite place is a place in my hometown called Big Al's, and it's got like fried alligator, fried shrimp po' boys, gumbo, jambalaya, like it's got the whole Cajun menu. Um, and you can't go wrong with like anything you get from there. You get that and a cold beer, and that's my favorite place to go to. But in New Orleans, like you can literally just pick the most dive bar po' boy place, and it's going to be the best food you'll ever have. So can't go wrong when it comes to food in Louisiana.
I love it. And I love that you are a part of this kind of Louisiana tribe in Nashville right now. Of course, you got Lane,
Mm,
you got the Davis, Jordan Davis and his brother. But how do you feel like Louisiana and growing up in Louisiana is kind of reflected in your music?
yeah, that's a great question. I think that there is definitely something. There's so many bayous and rivers. So I mean, I grew up on a bayou that was literally in the front of our house and a bayou in the back of our house. So I just think that there's definitely something in the water. I think that Louisiana has so much rhythm in the music, no matter what genre it is. There's so much Zydeco there. There's the second line out of New Orleans. Obviously, there's a ton of country music coming out of there too. There's so much music and life, like no matter what you're doing in Louisiana, whether you're, plowing sugarcane, you're listening to country music, whether you're out in the boat, in the Gulf, you're listening to music. Just so much of our life revolved around music, no matter what we were doing. So it wasn't so much that like people in my hometown played music, but it was that it was always there. Like the radio was always playing during crawfish boils. Um, like I said, being out in the boat, like it was just a part of our life. So I fell in love with it so much that I wanted to play it and I wanted to pursue it. I had really no backup plan. As a kid growing up there, I just knew I want to play music, and that's what I want to do the rest of my life. So it had a huge effect on me just growing up around it, and yeah, I'm super super thankful.
I love it. So one of my favorite things about your music is it's so guitar heavy and it's almost like another instrument, besides your voice. But
Mm,
when did you
thank you.
first pick up the guitar? I feel like whether it's an acoustic or electric, it's really kind of at the forefront of every single one of your songs. So I kind of want to know when that first started.
Yeah. Gosh, I remember picking up the guitar. That means a lot that you said that too, because I really try to focus on making sure our music stands out just from a guitar standpoint. So thank you for saying that. That means a lot. I remember picking up the guitar when I was 6 years old, not knowing how to play it, but just falling in love with the idea of playing guitar. And I started learning. My dad taught me three chords when I was 9. Now I learned there was way more than three chords. He didn't have to. All he knew was three chords and the truth, baby. And that's all he said. He was like, "Yeah, that's all. That's only three chords you need." Um, but the more chords that I learned, the more I started listening to guitar heroes, like whether it was Joe Walsh or Keith Urban, people that I really looked up to. The more I started realizing I really love playing guitar, and it is another voice for me. That's how I look at it. Whether it's a acoustic guitar, electric guitar, it's another way to convey an emotion. It's amazing to me. I think that guitar can say everything without saying a thing. It can convey an emotion, and I think that's what's really cool. So yeah, guitar is definitely another form of speaking for me.
So when you write the song more than three chords, do I get credit on that as well? Can we like put that down in your notebook, your song
Yeah,
notebook titles? Yeah.
yeah, we say that in Nashville. You know what we say in Nashville? We say a word, split a third. So
Yeah.
there you go.
Right. I love it. But I kind of want to dig into your songwriting. I think that's another thing that really stands out for me. You know what I mean? There's only so many ways that you can say something. And I think part of the challenge today with there just being such a rise in country music is like, how can I make this original? How can I take these themes that everything is built on and not make it sound like the guy before me? So, first, the two-part question, would you ever release the first song you ever wrote? And then how do you kind of keep that in the back of your mind, when you're in the writer's room?
Yeah, I think the first answer to the first question, uh, I love that song, but I wrote it when I was 14 years old.
It's in the vault.
So
Yeah.
yeah, it's in the vault. If somebody finds on the internet one day, that's fine. But I don't know if I would ever release it. Super proud of it because it got me here. Each song gets you to the next one. But and then to answer your second question, I think that constantly I love artists. I've always looked up to artists that um came at the perfect time of when the genre or the fans were wanting something different. And so I think that fitting in the market, fitting with what people are listening to right now, but also writing something that makes them go like, I've never heard that before. I've never heard that sound or that idea before, because there is so much of the same thing that can go on. That's what happens in country music. Something works and everybody. That's what happens in music in general. Like for the past 60 years, that's happened. Um, you know, trads and trends and fads kind of come along, and that's what happens. But I think that there's always a balance between, I don't know, like trying to think how to say it, like being in the music industry and fitting in with what's going on, but also making yourself stand apart from that. So it's the constant balance of like, I fit in with this sound, but how do I sound different from all of that? And sometimes that's literally just the pendulum swinging. Like sometimes it's just waiting for the sound to just swing back the other way. So as long as you just stay true to who you are, that's at the end of the day. I mean, I could talk about it all day, but really, like, as long as you're being true to who you are, that's all that matters. And so I really try to just stay true to who I am when it comes to writing songs.
I love that you bring up this like pendulum swinging thing because I've been saying that for forever that like
Yeah,
I grew up on a very specific country music sound, also mixed in with like, Guns N' Roses and Fleetwood Mac,
totally,
like
totally.
Joe Walsh, you bring up the Eagles, like
Yeah,
my whole youth was, littered with that stuff. But like, I do feel that this pendulum is very much not being swung, but like pushed heavily kind of towards this one way. And it's very
totally.
clear that you are kind of in that mindset. Cause I read that you have like 50 million streams and growing, which is wild because we are living in the world of streams, which if you would have asked
Yeah,
me when I was, a 10-year-old girl, the only girl in my elementary school that listened to country music, if streams would matter, I would look at you like you were nuts and pull
yeah.
out the CD or turn on country radio. So, first of all, congrats on the 50 million streams.
Thank
But,
you. Thank
why
you.
do you feel like so many people connect to your music?
Um, I hope that there's a story that they can connect with. I hope there's a lyric. I know that as a fan, I always connect with other artists that write about things that as humans that we go through that are very relatable, very maybe um, very relatable to them, but also relatable to me in a way. I love when artists are write about their hometown, but they take things of every hometown and they put them in a song where everybody can relate to it, or someone goes through a heartbreak. So I think I always am trying to at least trying to aim for that thing of conveying an emotion that I'm feeling, but hopefully that somebody else out there is feeling. So um, at the end of the day, I mean, it's all about connection. It's all about a song having an imprint on somebody's life. So that's what we're aiming to do. So to see songs doing that is incredible. Makes me very, very grateful.
I love it. I always also do a deep dive on people's Instagrams. I've been known to go to the very bottom of people's Instagrams and bring up old dirt. Sorry, Tucker Wetmore. If you go down at the very bottom of his, there are old track pictures and they're hysterical. So just
Yeah,
FYI. But
love
I
that.
didn't need to go down to the bottom of yours because I always find when somebody puts a Bible verse in their Instagram bio, it kind of encompasses who they are as a person. And it's like, you could put anything there, but you chose to put John 15:4. Why?
Yeah, yeah. Just my faith is such a big. I feel like that's the only reason that I'm here is just to be a light and love to other people. If anything else, it's country music is the very small part of this. It's to show God's light and love to other people, and it's very important to me to keep that at the forefront of everything that I do. Um, so it's a plus it's also life is so much of this. So to have something that I can grasp hold of and that's a firm rock that I can stand upon, and when the storm gets crazy or the road gets rocky, something I can put my foot on and have a firm ground to stand on, I guess, is super important to me. And yeah, I just think it's a huge part of my life, um and to inspire other people. I think that's why I put that there.
I love it. I always love to ask because I'm very open with my
Yeah,
faith as well. And there's a million, I think actually a million verses that you could choose from. So I always
totally.
get so, curious why people choose those ones. But I want to talk to you about She's Going to Town. First of all,
Yeah,
I got like early Keith Urban meets Brad Paisley vibes, which I
love
was
that.
super excited about. But how did that song come to be? And did you always want it to be like a guitar heavy song?
Yeah, that song came to be. We wrote that, gosh, almost a little over a year ago. And I had that title on my phone. She's going to town for a long time. I knew I wanted to write it. I wanted to write it like a double meaning. I love that story. Like, man, she's
Double
going to town. She's
entendres, baby. That's the best.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, going to town, getting after it. And then I was like, well, what if you flipped it? And she's literally going to town. She's leaving the country, and she's done with the guy in the country, done living the country life. So I love that little play on word there. I thought it'd be a cool way to write that. I'm a huge fan of songs that do that. So the song fell out pretty quickly. Me and the co-writers, they're guys that I wrote it with. It just kind of wrote itself. And then the demo that we did sounds very it's interesting because there's 808s and there's snaps and there's sounds very Wallen-esque. If that's a word. I don't know if that's a word,
I
but
think it is now.
uh
You're not the first
yeah,
person I've heard
yeah,
kind of
yeah,
allude to that. Yeah.
yeah. It sounded that way. And then we got in the studio, I knew I wanted to kind of take on this sort of I love pop punk. So I love pop punk. I love that kind of music. So I was like, I wonder if we can kind of blend some of that with banjos and I thought it'd be a fun way to record that song because it would just bring so much live energy out. So that's what we tried to do with it. So it kind of meets in the middle of having steel guitars and banjo, but then there's this like really loud guitar. Kind of reminds me a little bit of early 2000s
Yes.
punk. So
Yes, I
yeah,
definitely picked up on that. So no demoitis for you. I know a lot of people
yeah,
have a hard time with that. That's another, after talking with so many
yeah,
people, I've heard demoitis a long time,
yeah,
quite a few
yeah.
times as well.
That's a real thing. No, that is a real thing. That's happened to me a couple times on some songs that we've cut before, where I've gotten so used to the demo because I've worn it out.
Yeah.
Um, and so that's happened a couple of times, but I've learned to. So I think this helps to just like before we go in, completely forget about the demo, don't listen to it for a month or two, and then go in and cut it brand new. So sometimes that helps. I don't know. don't know if it'll keep helping, but
I love it.
fingers
Hey,
crossed.
clearly it's working, but
Yeah.
this wasn't on my questions list. But now that you're talking about pop punk, and that was also being played a lot in my house, thanks to my sister, it would be like,
Yeah.
all time low and that kind of like a little
Oh,
Fall Out
yeah.
Boy in my sister's room. And then there would be Reba McEntire in my room. So my poor, poor mother.
Totally.
If you could have a pop punk feature on She's Going to Town, like you guys re-release it with a feature, who would you want on there?
Oh my gosh. So I mean, you say all time low. I mean, that's massive for me. I think Yellow Card
Oh my
would be
God, a little Ocean
sick.
Avenue.
I
Yes,
think that'd be
I got that
so
right. Yeah.
cool. I think that'd be so sick. I mean, there's so many, but those two are definitely like part of my childhood. So I think that would be really cool.
I love that. I love that. Well, you know what? We're kind of gonna go into talking about you being on the road later this year. So maybe somehow you can like blend a pop pump song into She's Going to Town and then go back into it because you're opening for Lily Rose. First
Yeah,
of all, love Lily, probably one of the coolest people to be out on the road with. She's
totally.
killing it. But what was your reaction when your team or whomever kind of broke that news to you? What was that initial reaction?
Gosh, just super grateful that we get to go out with a crew like Lily's. Lily's so awesome. I love what she's doing musically. Um, what she's been doing musically the last couple of years, I've just been such a fan of. So to go out there and see those songs we play every night and to learn from her team, and to be playing some of these venues that we're playing are historic. I'm so excited about them. So just super thankful to have somebody like her bringing us out, and that crew is just they're awesome. So I'm ready to get out there. It can't come quick enough. So
And are we doing full band?
I think that we might be on some. We're going to be doing a lot of them acoustic.
Okay.
But we might have a few surprises for that too. So
Okay.
it'll be fun.
I'm ready for a surprise. But to wrap things up this year, I mean, I feel like you've probably reached a lot of your milestones, but we've kind of talked about growth through this whole
Mhm.
conversation. So I'm going to switch my question up a little bit. How do you want to continue to grow this year, personally, professionally?
Yeah. Um, it's a great question. I think personally, I feel I'm going into this season of change right now. So I'm super. I want to stay in the moment as much as I possibly can because I'm very hard. I'm very hard on myself and looking at the future and not living in the moment. So I want to definitely do that more, which I'm not great at, but I'm starting to realize that I'm not good at it. And that's the first key to knowing like, okay, I need to get a grip on this. So my wife's very good at helping me stay in the moment. And so is my team too. So I think personally just learning how to just soak in every moment. And then I think just professionally, we're gonna be putting out a lot more music. I think that having having a number one song sounds incredible, and I think that would be amazing. I would love that, but I think also just filling venues, filling bars and clubs. If within the next year, being able to go and play headline shows, having a song that has a moment, having songs that have a moment that connect with people, um, is a goal of mine. And until that moment comes, I'm just going to trust the process, and because I do believe that it's around the corner, and we're going to keep working hard until it gets there, to get to that moment. But I think that playing some of these dream venues are massive. Those are massive goals of mine, and obviously, eventually getting to arenas and then stadiums, which some people are like, that's a massive dream, but honestly, like that's when I first started coming to Nashville. All I pictured was playing sold out arenas and sold out amphitheaters, and because I love to play live, it's my favorite thing to do in the world is playing live and connecting with people. There's nothing like it. Um, so I think the end goal is having a massive fan base that connects and um, being able to do what I love and share that with other people is the massive goal. But for right now, just being able to have a song that has a moment, songs that have a moment, and also just playing some of these venues that I've dreamed of playing for so long, these bars and clubs. So there's a lot on the list, but That
I
was a
love it.
long answer,
In
but
our
there's a
family,
lot
we
there.
call it the abundance mindset. So we always
Yeah,
the abundance mindset. So thanks, Grandma. Shout out to you for that. But
yeah, I love
hopefully
that.
your wife continues to be your A&R because she's clearly approving of some bangers. So excited for more of her approval and to see what that leads to as far as what songs you
Totally,
put out.
totally, totally. She has a good ear. She has a good ear for sure.
You're listening